Get informed.
I'm Andy Rocco. This is Get Informed, UCB Radio, Sirius XM 406. How you doing, everybody? I'm here to tell you some stuff about current events. That's me, because I don't follow the news very much, and I get my funny, politically savvy, current event savvy friends to come here and tell me what's up in the world and help me form opinions about things. I'm joined with my co-host, Lisa Herring.
Hi, Andy.
She's our fact checker, and she'll be telling us the topics we're going to be talking about today throughout the show. So that's her voice. And today my panel is, first person on my panel is a half man, half robot, all Matt Fisher.
That's true. I knew you were talking about me when you started on that.
And the nerd face killer himself, Jack Helmuth.
All right. It's just getting personal. No need for that. I'm doing you a favor. I got to be at work right now.
I'm just kidding. I love you.
No, I have a nerd face. It's fine.
No, you killed people with nerd faces.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure. That's just getting confusing and insulting. So.
I don't understand the Ghostface killer's thing. Does he kill Ghostface people, or is he himself a Ghostface?
No, he's a killer who cannot be seen because his face, he has the same face as a ghost.
So he can't be made out in a lineup? Is
Right.
that the deal?
Yeah, exactly. and he can't get through doors like in Minority Report with a retinal scan.
Ah. So, like, when you see him in a lineup, it would either be him or Sam Wheat from Ghost.
Well, you're pointing out the exact problem is they can never put him in a lineup because they would need to pay 4 other guys who have ghost faces. And because there are no other people with ghost faces, he can't be put in a lineup.
Well, not only that, there's no jury of his peers.
That's exactly the point.
Man, this guy is really smart.
Well, anyway, so talking about current events today, Lisa, what's our first topic that we're going to discuss?
The Afghan president has ordered U.S. troops out of a province within the next 2 weeks.
Okay. The Afghan president. What's his name? Does anyone know?
Hamid Karzai.
Hamid what?
Karzai.
Yeah. Is he nice?
He's our guy over there.
Yeah, he's of all the puppets there
Did
are.
we install him?
He did very well.
No,
he did pretty well once we were over there.
Okay, but did we put him there or no? Or there's this thing
Andy, I put him.
Oh, okay. I'm
Lay
sorry.
off, man.
No, because I remember in the what's that Michael Moore movie?
Aladdin.
Michael Moore movie Aladdin. Yeah. in the Michael Moore movie, I think it's Bowling for Columbine. They were talking about how we kept on installing dictators into other countries at certain points. And is he actually correct? Does America actually install these people? Or is it kind of like the people that we hope that these people go get elected versus the dickhead that's going to be like a dick?
Well, I think, we offer them, Fast Pass at Disney World. Like, you get the Fast Pass, all the time if you just sort of implement our policies. And we'll make sure that then we'll give you $1 billion to sort of run your country, and we'll give you aid, and we'll make sure.
So, it's so this guy, we want a person that's easily corruptible, I guess.
Well, someone who owes us.
Yeah. Okay.
So before we get there, there's 15 people who all this around in the back of pickup truck shouting that they're the leader, and then we pick one, and then all of a sudden he's a front runner.
Okay. So this is good though that he's getting U.S. troops out, right?
It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy, or is it? I thought it would be a good thing. I don't want to have American boys die. I don't mean to sound like an old.
Well, they're not
50s.
kicking them out because they're dying. They're kicking them out because they're torturing and raping people.
Oh, really?
That's the story.
I didn't want them to be I didn't want soldiers to get harmed. That's what I was thinking. But
so you're saying you don't want them to get their faces scratched while they're raping people?
Yeah, I guess so.
Afghan women put up a fight. We gotta get those boys out of there.
Rocco bleeds red, white, and blue, man.
I don't know. I'm just curious. Does this means things are getting better for? So I getting better or worse? How do you feel? Is this positive thing, bad thing? How should I feel about this? What is the deal? I'm confused.
I mean, you should feel indifferent. It's, it's all the same. It's never going to change. It's going to, do the Get Informed program in 50 years. It's going to be the same story. Some more, soldiers are going to be raping people over there, and they're never going to leave. We're never going to, not have a foothold in that country now that we have it.
Or
so that's it.
Or a dick in a hole.
Too true. Is anybody on Rocco's side? I don't know. I don't. That's awesome. I don't know.
So, but he's ordered. So, what did he like when the Afghan president orders somebody to do? He literally calls Obama. He's like, "Get these guys out of here and stop them raping our women."
Yeah.
Are they really raping women?
I can't speak to that, but it's a big move for him to do. Like, we prop up that country. Like, it's our soldiers over there and contractors who keep that place from being complete chaos under the guise of keeping it sort of terrorist free.
Yeah.
But for him to say like, we'll try chaos over you guys is a sort of bold statement.
And especially in that area, because that apparently is that's sort of like a causeway for Taliban and and the radicals.
A bottleneck of
Yes, a bottleneck of terror to go who would keep them there and to keep them out of the capital where they can do some real damage. That's supposedly why it's an important strategic point. So to have the Americans pull out their troops would be, like you said, choosing chaos.
Okay, that's interesting. So this means all right. So that Afghanistan might become a total shithole if these American soldiers leave.
It might be,
but
it might become
it's
a
kind of a
shithole.
shithole because maybe they might be raping and torturing people there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So it's a lose-lose regardless.
Oh wait, hold on. We have an actual
Absolutely.
fact. We have a fact coming in.
this is not actually a fact. But I think if they kick the Americans out, they're just going to get raped and tortured by their own people over Americans. So
True.
it's
So you're saying they're
ultimately-
racist, is what they're
Yeah.
racist against white rapists.
Yeah.
Ugh, the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean,
No, but it reminds me. I remember when I first sort of was cognizant of that there was like Vietnam,
right.
and I asked my dad, and I was like, "Oh, what's the deal?" And the whole point he made was just to say like, "What's the best case scenario?" Like, you can't go someplace and like, in the name of some principle, which Vietnam was like the domino theory of like those people can't be communists, but like, under what circumstances would you leave? And it's that same thing now. Like, you send soldiers over there and you kill some terrorists and do some other stuff, but like, you can't keep soldiers there until that place looks like Nebraska, because it's never gonna.
Yeah,
Right.
there will be no. The war is won. We're going to sign a treaty. Mm-hmm. Just going to go on forever.
Wow, that's depressing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we led in with this really heavy, depressing shit here.
We leavened it with some cool rape jokes.
Yeah. At least we had some rape jokes in there.
But there's even more excitement
What's that?
because peace in Congo
Oh,
might happen. So
peace in
even more
Congo.
rape.
So, what I know about Congo is from the movie Congo.
Sure.
Which-
Gorillas are afraid to cross streams. You remember
Yes, yeah. Gorillas also can talk if you give them a little thing
Power glove?
Power glove that helps them like translate sign language, which I think is weird. Why didn't they just give it more to? Why isn't that around? That should be around. That upsets me incredibly so. Anyway,
There's a lot to unpack here, Andy. Like, do you want us to talk about Power Gloves or ASL or
Yeah.
the Congo or what?
but the thing that they have in the movie, the way they set it up, is that country's in constant turmoil of like new dictators like turning over all the time.
Yeah.
So that it was educational to that point. Like it was educational.
It was
where
not devoid of educational content.
Yeah, it was. It did teach me that Congo's a real shithole that's gonna be in constant turmoil and chaos, and Ernie Hudson's the man. So
Well, also Delroy Lindo was also like a tertiary man.
yeah, but in the movie he's like super crooked and corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
And like willing to take bribes for anything.
Yeah. Racially, that was a pretty tough movie.
Yeah.
Where it was like side with this gorilla against these like super angry black dudes.
Yeah. But that's good though. The Congo is becoming peaceful. What steps are they taking to do this? Do you have any answers specifically, Lisa? Like, are they installing just a good American guy or something?
No, I mean historically that's putting like American and colonialism into that area of Africa has not gone well. But people in Africa and UN leaders are kind of figuring out like what can we do that will make it peaceful someday.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I was overshooting this. I thought this was going to be some kind of real retroactive, like, peace is going to break out, like, zits on a teenager's face or something.
Well, quoting from the New York Times, many Congo analysts doubt that this agreement by itself is going to make much of a difference in a place where myriad rebel groups haunt the hills, massacring civilians and raping women with impunity.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's gonna stop, huh?
No.
Like, no? Okay.
Well, it's like I keep thinking of what's that Immortal Technique lyric? I'm a half Irish guy from Connecticut. I'm about to name check Immortal Technique, a super angry political rapper.
Uh-huh.
But he said, what did he say? He said, democracy is just a word when your people are starving.
Yeah.
And so, like, they sign these accords, and people living in Congo are like, oh, that's awesome. Also, a dump truck just knocked over my house. Cool. So, it's been a good end. You take the good, you take the bad.
Yep. And there you have it.
It's apparently also one of the rape capitals of the country.
Is it?
Of the world.
Of the world.
Yep.
Wow.
According to rapetourism.com.
It's so helpful that I had that bookmark.
And rape aficionado.
I was just able to go right to it. All my favorites.
Did you say I'm going rape to it?
I didn't.
No, I thought you did.
No, but I wish I did. That was if only I had a time machine. That was the one time I would use it.
We'll be
Go back.
right back on the Andy Rocco Show.
Oh, geez, Louise. All right, so essentially the things I surmise from this is that from Afghan into Congo, like people, there's like this bout of change that wants to happen, but it really is not going to change anything. Essentially.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think the takeaway from the Congo story is how little I knew about it, how much research I had to do to look it up. The second Congo war that we're sort of referencing, that they're still sort of petering out.
It's like
killed 5.7 million people, the most people who've died since World War II. It is like the bloodiest war of the last 60 years, and I don't know shit about it.
Wow, that is
that's
insane.
the takeaway.
Yeah. That many people died? 5.7
million.
I didn't even think Congo was that big, really.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's 71 million people.
71 billion? Wow. That's sad. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry,
Well,
Congo.
also, I mean, it's. I don't want us to have the attitude of like, oh yeah, these countries are doomed. We should write off these countries. It's like.
That's what I was about to think right now. Like, I really honestly think, like, I don't really think about Congo that often, except for the movie Congo.
Right.
Great movie.
Which you think about all the time.
Which I think of all the time. And I know a lot of little information about it, but I don't really think about it too much. But this is like that thing where when people tell me that's a white first world problem, that's what they're referring to. They're referring to like, oh, you should check out what's happening in Congo.
Right.
Like every time I complain about the fact that my iPhone won't do something. Right.
Afghanistan and Congo are where the non-first world problems happen.
Right.
Well, but also it's just like unless there's like industry and economics and stuff like that, that's what solves those problems, not U.S. forces or these people signing a peace treaty in the Congo. Like that doesn't count for much until there's a little bit more infrastructure.
Right.
As they say.
But I feel like when to be philosophical, I would think that the way to like bring infrastructure or structure it is that a lot of bad shit needs to happen, kind of, and then like this happens. So I don't know. Geez, I feel really sad. I feel depressed about this whole thing.
Well, things do get better. I mean, countries do get more stable. But I just don't know how does it happen. I don't know.
I mean,
I haven't been around for it.
I know. Well, I mean, like the only thing I can think, and every time anyone's ever said this to me when I was like really depressed or sad, was buck up. Congo and Afghan. All I could tell you is buck up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dear Afghanistan, it's not that you fell down. It's how you get up. Anyway,
it's a poster. It's a hang in there poster with a cat getting raped.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not pretty.
And it's hanging from a branch.
I have to say I took kind of great offense to that. I don't advocate cats getting raped.
Neither do I. That's what I'm bringing it. That's why I bring it up.
No, I'm sorry. It's just not cool, Jack.
All right.
Not cool.
Fair.
I was fine with all the rape that we were talking about in general, but when it comes to little kitties, no thanks.
Okay. All right.
Now we know where Andy's line is.
Yeah, we have different politics, you and I.
Well, here's the thing: when you rape a cat, it's probably gonna die. When those people got raped, they lived.
Who's raping the cat?
John Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I was just thinking about like a cat on cat. I guess I wasn't thinking about the size of a person's penis.
I
I
thought
guess
you-
it was just like if it's a okay.
Okay, you. Oh, okay.
I didn't want to-
Actually, all right. No. I guess no. I actually am okay with cats raping other cats,
Yeah.
but a man raping a cat, I'm against.
Sure.
Cats raping cats. That's kind of just cats having sex. I think. In the
Yeah, I
end,
mean, no cat can give informed consent. There's no,
Right.
There's no consensual sex has never occurred in cats
Right.
ever. So,
I'm sure there hasn't. Right. I mean.
but according to the law,
Well, according to the law, every cat is asking for it. So there's that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Get Informed. I'm here. We're back. I'm Andy Rocco. This is Get Informed on Sirius. I am talking with Matt Fisher and Jack Helmuth, and I'm joined by my co-host and lovely fact-checker, Lisa Herring.
Oh.
Lisa, what's a new bit of news that's been going on that we can discuss?
Mississippi finally banned slavery.
Oh.
I think is huge news.
Yeah, that's good.
oh man, Jack's Row put out.
Come on.
That's where his summer place is.
God, I gotta buy a lawnmower. Shit.
Yep. That's I feel like in any place there's like a lot of big debate about like interns just working for free for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They should have Mississippi should have just capitalized on that, or just like that's crazy. It came down to just like this, like the bill apparently was just not signed, and it kind of just stayed in somebody's inbox for like an indefinite long period of time.
They don't have inboxes.
Like
Well-
140 years.
Like an
Yeah.
apple basket.
Yeah,
An apple basket. But like, do you feel like they should have just kind of pretended like that this didn't happen? Like, this makes them look so, like, everybody thinks Mississippi's already pretty racist, right?
Yes.
You think they're trying to brag? That you think there's a brag element to like, guess what? We outlawed slavery. So don't say we're not racist. Because
Yeah, I guess, but like, it seems so strange. It's just, I mean, it just seems like such an empty gesture just to do it now, right? Just be like, like how old's your child now?
whoa,
Well, how old-
can't wait to see how this match
Yeah.
this lines up.
He's 23 months old.
Yeah, so like if I got you a gift now for him, that would be like just like, oh, thanks. Like, would that be bad?
That would be fucking awesome.
Oh, well, I'm
I
not.
love a present.
I have a kid too, 18 months.
Yeah, 18 months.
So even better for me.
I'm not giving you any gifts. All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's weird, but I mean, it's an important piece of bookkeeping.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's all bureaucratic nonsense. It seems like.
See, but I don't think it's true. I didn't follow the debate in Mississippi a lot, but I think it's no accident that it didn't happen until now. Like, I don't think that anybody down there wants to own slaves, but I think there are plenty of people all around the country who are like, ugh, come on. Yeah, there's no slavery. Get over it. Like, why do we got to pass a thing for them? You know? And like one guy in Mississippi is like, guys, it's real tacky that slavery is legal here. Can we just please get with it? And a bunch of other people are like, would you quit your whining? Like, you know? I think
You think someone in Mississippi used the word tacky? Really? I love that in Fisher speak.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. You're very sweet, Matt.
isn't it rather jejune?
Well, an interesting thing about it too is that they actually were going to ratify it in 1995, but nobody gave it to an archivist. So like it didn't officially go through. So like they tried to do it in 95, it didn't work, and they're like, oh, we'll try again in 2013.
If he had a trusty slave, he would have taken it to the
Yeah.
right guy, put it in the right apple box.
You need a.
You're not so much a slave. You're more like a gopher. Could you just like bring this thing over there? But the real lesson of this is that state governments work just like the office where you had your first temp job,
Yeah.
where it's like people just like petty people and people forget to do stuff. And
Yeah. I remember when I was working as a temp, they gave us like a filings. Like they gave me a bunch of filing. They're like, just file this. And then, like, there was a certain point where I was just, like, putting things in. I was the reason why, like, they were like, the thing I liked was they were like, don't worry about, like, if you don't know where you're putting it exactly, because, like, so many other temps have ruined this.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, you're no better. Just put it to the best of your knowledge where you think it should go. And that's what probably happened with this document.
Yeah.
Just so many temps. We got to hire some real people with some benefits. That's probably why. Probably,
People try a little harder.
yeah.
People take it a little bit more seriously.
Maybe this is why we need healthcare, is to, like, motivate people to stay at a job and just, like, I don't know.
Pass those bills.
Pass those bills and get these things done. Stop hiring temps. Make people feel, like, appreciated.
I think I brought up the temp thing. Like I said it was a temp. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want you to get angry emails.
No, I'm angry. Temps are the
From
worst.
former slave
I'm a
families.
temp.
Oh yeah, you are a temp.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe my own girlfriend's a temp.
But do you try your hardest anyway?
No.
Okay.
No, I completely support everything you just said.
Good.
So do you now have to get your slaves like at online Canadian pharmacies and something like that? Like,
I
where,
guess
where do you
so.
get your slaves now?
I-
Where does one get slaves? Not you specifically. Andy.
I don't know. I mean, like, I would think. I guess I would like to just slave. I don't want to enslave just black people, though. I would want to slave white people.
Because you're not racist. You would like for
Right.
there to be slaves, but why is it race based?
Right, exactly. You know, like, I would like to slave Quentin Tarantino to make me movies, like, just movies for me.
He'll make them even if you don't have him as a slave.
No, but I want him to make ones where I'm in them, and, like,
You just want a part in a Quentin Tarantino movie?
yeah. But
I
I
think
feel
you're
like
going
he'll
about
do,
this backwards, man.
but
You're
he'll
changing,
only do it if
like
he was,
repealing that amendment and the whole thing just to get after QT.
Yeah. All right.
You
Well,
should talk to, like, I don't know, somebody in L.A.
is that all you have to do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you just can.
Basically.
Oh, because, like, remember, that's like the same.
Come on, man. Don Johnson's in that movie, man. There's no casting. There's no.
It's,
Here today.
it-
Oh shit! There's my advice guy.
Who's free Monday?
this falls under the same advice that people told me, like, about, like, getting on SNL. They were just like, yeah, you should be, like, on SNL. Why don't you do that? Why don't you try out for that? I'm like, well, it's a very rigorous process of auditioning, and they get, like, only certain people, and you got to know somebody that will help put you in there, and that's pretty much it. That would be the same reasoning, I think, right? No, I don't know.
It sounds like we're in a plantation right now, here in a slave. Talk about how life is. Ooh.
Well,
See, it's funny. It's interesting in Mississippi right now. You can have a slave, but not a good Italian meal. That's a fact.
that's a
It's
shame.
really true.
You know, actually, do you know how
It's called El Dente, Mississippi. Come on, man.
the reason why this actually became a thing was that like, a guy who was, like, a scientist at a university or a professor at a university saw Lincoln, and then he was, like, curious about it, and that leads us to the Oscars that happened just last night.
It all ties together.
It all happens, and so the Oscars. Just to anyone who's listening who didn't really give a shit and just was curious to know, the winner of Best Picture was Argo.
Yep.
Correct. Right.
Yep. And that's a correct intonation.
yes, Argo. Did you not like Argo?
I liked it fine. I liked it very much on first viewing, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wait a minute. That's a pretty low stakes story. Like the first thing that happens in that story is, like, 144 people are taken prisoner
Yeah.
and put into the basement of an embassy,
Yeah.
and then, like, 6 people just put on coats and go have to stay in a Canadian dude's house, and it's like, we'll save those people. You know, and because it took more than a year for the actual hostages to get released, and it's like a long, boring political thing.
Yeah.
That's not a movie, but it's like, oh, wait a minute. A guy in Hollywood helps save some dudes, and, like, no matter
Right.
how low stakes it is, it seems, you know. And the most interesting part of that movie to me is the opening credits, where they sort of use storyboards to tell the weird political history of Iran and how
Right.
you know, Western influences sort of created their own crisis there.
Yeah, I kind of tuned out during that part. I didn't understand the whole. Why didn't we just give them the Ayatollah? Like, is that who they wanted, right?
No.
Who
There was the Shah living in exile. They wanted him back so that they could string him up.
Oh, so wait, America did America take the Shah and, like,
They
hide
took
him?
they took him in so that he wouldn't be lynched.
Okay, but they took him into the American embassy or the...
He lived in America, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
I believe.
Yeah, they stormed the embassy because they were like, "Hey, America, give us this guy back."
Right.
And like the embassy was just the closest Americans that they had access to take.
And was he the Shah like a stooge for us kind of thing? Like the way...
Yeah. And
Okay.
he lived very large, lived very high on the hog, and created the resistance to him was a religious fundamentalist resistance. Mm-hmm. So he had to haidikatu, as they say. Is that a phrase just in my family? It means to leave. And then so there was the protest against that guy is what is even now we're still sort of dealing with that kind of political sentiment, which is that like Western interference in Middle Eastern holy places.
Did that guy ever go back into power? No? Like, is he dead?
No. He died.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that the whole Argo thing got fixed. Like, I guess. What? I don't know. It's I kind of see your point, though, because there's, like, another thing I heard is that, like, Canada played such a bigger role in that story, and it's kind of underplayed. I think it's just kind of this thing where movies are like, we love movies, where movies get, like,
oh, yeah,
significant play about how important they are.
Yeah,
like,
aren't movies magical?
Yeah. And, like...
Okay, hold on. I mean,
I love movies.
That's still a really bold thing to do.
No, it
is.
is.
To go in there and they, I know it's low stakes compared to the 144 people. It's still 6 lives. If that's your mother or your wife in there, that's a pretty high stakes.
Do you think? Did anyone see Lincoln?
Yes.
I saw. I tried to watch it, but
I can't imagine you watching Lincoln.
It was very slow, and and like. I feel like Daniel Day-Lewis sounded kind of like a modified, like, Clinton. He's just like, oh, hey. Like,
he did kind of have a high sort of cranial voice, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just like, oh, come on, guys. Let's really get it together here. like it's the whole...
Directly from the Gettysburg Address.
So wait, you're saying you did see the movie or you didn't see the movie?
I saw...
It was on our TV.
I was geared up for watching it. And then there was just like moments where I was like, "Oh man, I really should fold these laundry." And oh wait,
we made lunch.
Yeah, we made lunch,
Nice.
and then like I kind of went in. I'm like, "Oh, is anything happening?" And then the one thing I thought was weird. The other thing I thought was weird about it. I remember seeing the beginning part very vividly, and he's just like sitting talking to those guys. There's just like those like soldiers, and they're just like hanging on every word he's saying. And one of them like recites one of his like his speeches, and
the Gettysburg Address. Yeah.
And I was just like, are you sure that guy really memorized that speech after hearing it once? And like, was that affected? But like, also you have to understand this is during a time where there was no microphones. I'm sure like he was in a crowd of people and saw this, and like I feel like he may have not heard it.
I mean, that's much more romantic telling of the story than forcing Irish people off of boats in New York at gunpoint to go fight for the fucking Union.
Yeah, I guess. But so did you feel like Lincoln should have won? Do you think that was more of a important thing?
Zero Dark 30 should have won.
Sir, that's the movie about Obama? No, Osama.
Oh,
Osama.
Andy, you're part of the problem.
That was a slip of the. I said Obama trying to kill Osama.
Well, no, but I don't even mean because you misspoke, but so many people took that movie as like a statement of the heroism of the Obama administration. And back when it was like a cool political thing to try and pretend that Obama hadn't like presided over the murder of, or not murder, but the capture of Osama bin Laden.
Is that a very pro, like, this is great that we did this movie, or is it just kind of a movie where it's like, this is a very complicated thing that we killed him, and like there's a lot of like other, or is it kind of just
it's a melancholy movie. They try and take the romance out of it a lot.
That's good.
But it is a Hollywood movie. It's like that thing of saying, can you make a war movie that's anti-war? And a lot of people think you can't, because just by putting it in a dramatic context, showing it and humanizing the people who do it, you automatically lend a sort of gravitas to it.
And also you have to get. Also, I heard this too. It's to get permission to use like tanks in movies and such, you have to go to the military, and they also have to approve the script and everything. They can't just.
Yeah, but when they participate in stuff.
Yeah, so like if you're going to use tanks, it's going to be kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, we're going to. Many times during this movie, people are just going to say war is hell.
Right.
No, I hope that you're cool with that, man.
Right.
Yeah.
But that again, Never mind. What were you gonna say?
Well, what's the room's feeling on Zero Dark 30?
I didn't see it, but
I didn't see it either.
yeah.
It was good. It was a good procedural. I wouldn't put it up as like a great movie. Both that and Lincoln, I think, were like more handsome than good. I'm a Django man because that was a crazy movie. I can't believe that was a movie. That was insane. But that was a Best Picture contender. That was so exciting.
I liked Django a lot. I thought it was just, it's like a little too not like a Best Picture kind of movie, and I kind of am excited because it was nominated, but like I just didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna win. I feel like it was just like a nod, to be like, hey. Like, thanks. Thanks for making
a good movie.
Yeah, thanks for making a fun, great movie.
Well, I think, as you point out, there are sort of Best Picture feeling kind of movies. Like Lincoln is like has shelves in the background for where its Oscars will go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Django kind of doesn't.
Right.
And so it's exciting. We can have an argument about like what should be a Best Picture.
Right.
By the logic of the Academy.
Well, traditionally, I feel like what wins Best Picture always has to have some kind of like historical significance, because apparently everybody has the same educational level as me and derives all their history lessons from like movies.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, so many people, I feel like the movie needs to serve in some way. That's why Quiz Show didn't win that year, because nobody gives a shit about 40s quiz shows, because it's not a big of enough of an event.
It doesn't build up your ego in the same way of like watching Zero Dark 30 and then being able to say like, yeah, I know about Kandahar,
exactly.
Waterboarding. It's all very complex.
Don't you think the waterboarding is what cost it votes? The politics of the waterboarding?
Yeah.
That it was implied that it perhaps was effective?
Yeah. And I think that people brought that up because of the Oscars.
Exactly.
The political stuff about the Oscars is super strange.
It's amazing.
They made the people from Silver Linings Playbook go, and they talked to Joe Biden about like mental health policy in an attempt to make it look like Silver Linings Playbook was about some trendy topic, just because that would lend it the kind of importance that resonates with Oscar voters.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's so random.
That movie was about a mentally ill guy.
Yeah, there are mentally ill people in it. Yeah,
okay.
But it's not a cause movies. It's not like a thing at the end where it's like call your senators.
But Silver Linings Playbook probably would have worked better if you like went into a school, shot up people. Then we're talking about mentally ill people right there. That's what needed to happen in
timely.
That's what would have got them the Oscar.
You haven't seen it, but if there was a school shooting in it,
they need to
would have done better.
They needed to tack that on there.
Give me 2 movies I haven't seen. Which one has a school shooting in it? That's my boy. That's my horse.
How good would Pretty Woman have been if Julia Roberts goes into a school?
I haven't seen it. I've been led to believe there are no school shootings in it.
I'm sorry, Jack. I cut you off though.
I don't remember.
But you liked Zero Dark 30.
I liked it a lot.
And you think that should have won?
To me, that was the best picture of the year. That and Looper, which wasn't nominated. Looper's a great movie.
Yeah. Our producer, Jason Shabiro, is giving a big thumbs up for Looper, the movie where a guy has to go back in time and to finish the loop has to kill the older version of himself.
Good movie. To
discredit all the assassinations that he's made all throughout his life, I think, in a weird way. To close the loop, I think. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in it, and he has a putty nose to look more like Bruce Willis, which I heard made it kind of jarring a little bit during the movie. Is that true?
A little bit. You get used to it.
Okay. You get used to it.
All right, fair enough.
That's a good. I give that one the sort of Django vote of like, what? Whoa! I heard it's hard to get money to make movies.
What else? Let's see. And
I do remember. So sort of talking about the politics of
the Oscars.
The politics of the Oscars. I was reading an article last week about with an interview in the Hollywood Reporter with someone who cast an Oscar ballot, and he goes through each of his picks and just says, "Here's who I picked and here's why I did it." Just completely unfiltered, honest. Why I voted for everybody, and the reasons are just stunning. I've always liked Steven Spielberg, so I'm going to vote for him. I didn't like Jennifer Lawrence on SNL. I thought that was tacky, the Meryl Streep jokes, so I'm not voting for her. Literally, that's why the reasons are not, it's artistic. You can't really judge which is better.
Yeah.
But it's that random. It's offending someone's sensibilities about a ridiculous issue.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I did, well, being in SAG, I didn't vote for even the screen actors, but I got all the screeners. I think I should vote. I feel like I got to take a...
Man.
Yeah.
It's democracy in action, dude.
Yeah, I got to take
You can't complain about who got SAG awards if you don't vote. Or you also kind of can't find out who got SAG awards.
Right. So I should. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take more of an active interest. And when I get on the Academy, I swear to God, I'm going to vote then too.
It's fun. You can do it online now.
What?
And you vote for the SAG Awards?
Yeah.
You can do it online, and they have cool categories. You vote for like stunt ensemble on a TV show and stuff.
Best
and,
black actor.
Yep.
Or Blackter.
See, you're in SAG. We don't know.
Why don't we take a quick break? We'll be right back with more Get Informed. This is Get Informed. I'm Andy Rocco. I'm talking with my good friends Jack Helmuth and Matt Fisher.
Good friends.
Good friends.
Yeah, man.
We hang out constantly.
Nope.
I helped baptize your children.
Not baptized. Not going to
I
heaven.
dropped them in a puddle.
That's different.
You're really rewriting history.
We were just talking about the Oscars, and now we're going to a little bit of the softer news.
Softer than the Oscars?
Softer
Whoa.
than the Oscars.
Oh.
Oh my God, this news is the consistency of moist bread, ladies and gentlemen. So there was did you read the article about Bernie Madoff, who sent like this crazy email to CSNBC
Yeah.
and essentially kind of blamed banks for like saying, he's like, well, they kind of knew what I was doing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not like, they should have known. Like I was giving them a lot of money.
Right.
I don't know why he sounds like a tough Brooklynite, but
This is
Yeah,
why
man,
you-
you're in SAG.
yeah, thank you.
but not on SNL.
Not on SNL. I will just continue to
his Madoff wasn't that good. It just...
Lauren Michaels.
No, Andy, we like you.
Lauren Michaels, you
we
literally
open the show with a Madoff every week.
Lauren, you literally just came into the studio just to criticize my impression.
No, I was doing the NFL show down the hall, and I saw you and I remembered. Oh, there's the guy who doesn't do the Madoff, and
Oh man, picture Bernie Madoff in your mind for a minute. You ever see him and Lauren Michaels in the same room?
Oh, very good point. Do you know what the interesting?
I guarantee you they have been in the same room.
Yeah, that's
before.
actually a good point. Someone has seen them.
They
Paul Simon has.
I
In
didn't
a
read.
sauna.
I didn't read the whole article, but I saw when I read this article.
That should be the name of the show.
I know, but when I read that article, there was a thing of showing like they might do a biopic about Bernie Madoff.
There's
and,
a
they will.
thriller.
and
There's some stakes.
yeah, there's a real stakes movie.
Bank account.
The person that might play Bernie Madoff, they had a picture of Robert De Niro, and I was like, he has gray hair now, and I guess kind of looks Madoff-ish, like Madoff.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say Pacino. Pacino, he did. He's done. He did Kevorkian, and then he did.
yeah.
What's his name? The music producer guy. They just finished making that movie. The guy who was on trial with the afro.
Yeah.
Phil Spector.
Phil Spector.
Yeah.
Madoff, and then that seems like the kind of movie ends up on HBO.
Yeah.
HBO
Yeah, it
production.
does.
I don't know. I've never seen anything. I never heard Bernie Madoff like speak like in front of people or anything. I know he's the guy that stole all that money with Enron and whatever, and
Sure.
and that he's gonna possibly get a biopic about him, and
Sure.
and now he eventually.
You read most of the article. Is what you're saying.
I think I read some of the article because then if
You scanned an article on financial scams, plural, and are combining facts. Okay, go on.
But he's a pretty shitty guy.
Well, I don't sympathize with him, but I think what he says is true. Is that it's not so much.
agree.
It's not. It's not that people in the financial industry never break the law, because when they do, they know they'll get caught.
Right.
Like I can use. I know a little bit more about insider trading, and I've heard people who deal in stocks and things like that say that it's the law is so slack that it's more about when you fall out of favor, or it's more like when you're under the eyes of the people in charge. That's when you get in trouble. But people don't not know about stuff. Like
Right.
people don't ignore or divest themselves of information that might make them a nickel. They do what they can.
Right.
And if everybody does that, it becomes more of like a guessing game of like, how do I stay out of trouble, not how do I not break the law.
Yeah, you know what Madoff should have said? He should have been like, the banks are like Joe Paterno. They knew what was going on. They chose to do nothing. And, like, they're shitty. And Joe Paterno, hey, banks are great. So is Joe Paterno. But no one's crucifying these banks.
It's true.
We should crucify these freaking banks, huh? Right?
Even in that...
I'm on Team Sandusky, so I'm going to recuse myself.
Right, exactly.
I apologize. You two finish.
You mean you're on Sandusky's softball team?
Yeah, and I don't like the guy, but I mean, he pays for the uniforms.
Lisa, do we have another topic or something?
Google glasses.
Google glasses. These are weird glasses to wear, and you can check out Google on them. And
They have a little screen that allows you to use the internet by talking to your glasses.
Is that how it works? You talk to them?
Yeah, you say, "Hey, glass, take a picture of this,"
Really?
and then you say, "Put it on Facebook."
Really?
And then it goes on Facebook.
it looks like
That's how the demo works. Anyway.
They look kind of like that little eyepiece that Johnny Lee Miller is wearing at the end of Hackers, I think.
Yeah.
And like I remember when I saw that movie, I remember that looking pretty stupid.
Yeah.
And,
Well, a lot about hackers. There's a lot about that didn't age very well.
yeah. Well, speaking of movies that like make something out of nothing, like literally,
right.
Hacking looked so exciting.
Well, they always have those computers that project the type onto your face, so that while you're typing in a dark room, like you can see stuff happening on the guy's face. That doesn't happen with real computers.
But that's.
So you're saying you would not want Google Glass?
I mean, we talked about this on the last show, and I thought this was kind of interesting. And I feel Anthony Tamanik has a very good point, which is like they're coming out with an iWatch.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not necessary to have it. It's just you need this and your phone. And it's just so you don't have to take your phone out of your pocket. And and it's just like one more thing you don't really need. And it's not like really innovative. It's just kind of really kitschy, stupid crap to have that you don't really like need. And it's nothing like just how about having just Wi-Fi in the subway? That would be great.
Right.
I'd rather have that more than just like a little bit slightly more convenient like computer. And I feel
These are all garbage versions of like having a retina, having like a brain computer, right? Like that's what I remember before there were iPods, I got my dad's Palm Pilot. And if you paid like $400, you could get a little thing that plugged into the top of your Palm Pilot. And if you had like 6 programs on your computer in 4 hours a time, you could get like 5 MP3s onto this like little thing, so you could listen to it on a Palm Pilot. But that was a crappy version of what was then later an iPod.
right.
So like you can only have so many good inventions, and then for the 20 years in between those inventions, you got to buy a bunch of extra crap that basically doesn't work.
Like the Madden NFL franchise.
Exactly.
I do feel a little weird about and then putting it that way, I do feel kind of scared because I hate the idea that in the future that people are just going to implant stuff into their faces and eyes.
Like
course they are.
contact lenses.
Yeah.
Think about it. The future is now, man.
No, I'm not saying anything. Contact lenses is okay, I guess, but
What about those little earrings that sometimes girls get like on top of their cheekbone, like next to their
God.
eyeball?
Yeah.
Where does it come out? Where's the other end of that thing, man?
I generally do not like that.
It's in your skin.
Oh boy.
Yeah, why? Please, I anyone who has that, I'm sorry, but you stop doing get that out of your face.
Have fun in the MRI tube.
Yeah. But I kind of feel scared with the idea of people merging with machines. Like, it just makes me.
Pistorius.
What's that?
Oscar
That's right.
Pistorius. He had blade,
Oh yeah.
he had metal legs and
blade-
became a murderer.
Yeah.
There's a direct correlation between the
The
two.
soul lives in the legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those legs were made out of metal from a Panzer tank.
A woman-hating panzer tank. It's very specific where they get their materials.
That's pretty tragic and sad. That's so that guy he was a robot essentially, and now it just made him more evil.
Yeah.
That's what.
And now no prison can hold him. I don't know what they're going to do after that trial.
Yeah. What if he runs away and
What if he
escapes?
jumps
He's gonna
out.
spring out. Exactly
Jumps over
right.
the wall,
That's
man.
exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Make sure, like, I guess if you're gonna lock him up, make sure you put him in a place where he doesn't have like access to like rubber to make
Right.
like some kind of like fins to swim away.
Right.
If there's like an
They
ocean.
need to put him in the Magneto jail.
Yeah.
Magneto
That's a
room.
great idea.
They
Yeah.
should just take his legs away. That should be his punishment.
Oh, man. Cool.
Maybe they already did. Maybe he's a repeat offender.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got the metal legs, and now he's
Just made him stronger.
yeah.
We didn't make a mistake. We just made him stronger.
We took away his legs, but then the warden looks up and the fan from the ceiling is missing two blades. And then he dies. And then you see the hands come up and strangle him.
Yeah.
Now Lincoln would have been fun with that scene.
Right.
I would watch that version of Lincoln. That would hold Andy Rocco's attention.
Right. Or he can do what he did in Shawshank Redemption, where he, inside of a very big Bible, he has the
Right.
legs just hidden
Yeah,
inside.
Reader's Digest large print Bible. I got you this coffee table for prison.
Has little. And is there any other like topics, Lisa?
There is. This is something that happened in North Dakota. A bunch of high school students went to a school function in KKK uniforms and then got in trouble for it.
Good. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I feel very strange. I'm always up for everyone speaking their mind, being a radio personality and comedian and having said horrible things on stage for the sake of a joke.
Yeah.
Sure.
But these, I don't like that. I think there's something about that. It's just too blatant, I guess, where it's just like, hey, what are you going to do? You're going to lock me up because I wore this?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, they should get in trouble, but that's why you're a kid. You at that age, you make those mistakes. You know.
I made it through my teens without ever putting on a KKK hood.
All right. Well, we're 1 for 2 out of the two of us.
let me tell you, I actually
Hitler
have
mustaches don't come off when they're in Sharpie. Thank you.
I have actually an interesting story that actually happened to me. The year that I graduated high school in Greenwich High School was the year that the high school, I think it was 5 seniors who were jocks, who I didn't care very much for, but they coded a message in the yearbook that said "kill all N-words."
Whoa.
And they spelled it out, and they weren't allowed to graduate, which they weren't allowed to go to graduation. And, like, I thought that wasn't really a punishment, first of all, because graduation sucked. It was such a long, boring thing. I'd rather they just
Why punish their parents?
Yeah, like,
That's what it's for.
but they've been, like, I feel like the guy, one of the kids' teachers, one of the kids who did it, his father was a teacher there. He got, like, I think he just, like, was forced to quit, or he quit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like how much, like, and they did it, I think they did it as a joke kind of thing, where it is kind of funny in the way that, like, like, it's like you got something over on somebody, you know? Like, we wrote, like, the most offensive thing you can probably ever write. And, like, nobody knows, but one of them obviously couldn't keep his mouth shut, and, like, everybody
Yeah, you
figured
gotta
it.
show it off.
Yeah, there's, like, this, but I can understand the teenage, like, rebellion of, like, oh, we did this kind of thing. But, like, like I think Matt said, like, I went through my whole life not offending any, like, major minority groups. Like, why?
Well, I think this is the system working, is that, like, yes, you're allowed to dress up like you're in the Klan, and then the rest of society is allowed to say that you're a shithead. Like, that's, you know, like that's justice. Not justice, but, like, you know, I think something untoward would be if all of a sudden you couldn't sell white sheets in America. That's not right.
That's true.
But, like, you can be racist, and I can make fun of you, and then good for everybody.
I actually look at this oddly optimistically, that they're just young kids. Maybe they saw Django. I'm serious, you know, and it's like, oh, that's a funny thing that you don't understand it. You just don't at that age. You don't, understand. I remember making some sort of blackface joke or suggestion about blackface. I didn't do anything, and because I didn't get it. Like, blackface. Ted Danson did that. There's something, I don't know, it's funny. It's you just don't get it. So when you're a kid, I mean, they should be punished. We should make fun of them. They deserve all of that. But, I mean, hopefully there's not a bunch of hate in their heart. They just don't know. That's why you're young, to make those mistakes. That's why you go to school, to step over the line, be reprimanded, and okay, I get it. Now I know why these things are bad.
Also, blackface in the news in New York now. Just yesterday was Purim. Happy Purim, everyone.
It was also your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Also, by the way, if you want to wish me a happy birthday, it's going to be on Sunday, March 3rd.
Pass.
Sort of a my birthday, Jack, but that's fine. No, happy birthday on Sunday.
My birthday
But
is...
an assemblyman... Go. You got it.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
An assemblyman showed up at his Purim party in an afro and blackface and a basketball jersey.
No.
And
when you're an adult, now you're just...
But his story about it was so funny, where he was like, it's like... People, I didn't. It's just an outfit. It's like you wear a costume, and that's I don't look like that. And I think the punchline to his excuse was, if I was black, I would wear whiteface. And you're like, wow, I don't know. You're like, okay, cool. Like, but that's the thing is like, yes, you're free. That's why if you're dumb, people are afraid to sound dumb.
Right.
I'm not as smart as I would like to be, so I'm trying not to say dumb things. And like, if you're more racist than you would hope to be, then be careful about putting on blackface.
Yeah.
Because when you do, then everybody knows.
I don't know. I remember one year when Flavor of Love was really popular. Like for Halloween, there was like a ton of guys just like wearing like wearing a big clock and like a suit and like the Viking helmet. But they weren't wearing blackface, and I totally understood who they were. Like,
they could have done it better.
Like they didn't. I wasn't like you should have worn blackface, but like they're allowed to do Flavor Flav because Flavor Flav is ridiculous, and he has such a unique persona. Yeah, I think he could have been a basketball player, had an afro, and just not done blackface.
He had the jersey.
Yeah, like I would have got it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
There were a lot of white basketball players with afros too during the 70s.
That's true.
He could have just been any basketball. If he was going for a specific basketball player, maybe.
But I mean, isn't that why you get to then judge him? Is because he was like, it's going to make this outfit. If I was a black dude.
Oh Lord. Anyway, let's. What do you guys? What do you got? Some Twitters? You got some tweets? You got some Twitter accounts?
You want to hear some reasons? I got some great Oscars tweets.
No, I was wondering. If people who are listening to the show and they're like, when they're listening to your voices and the commentary that you have on life and the news, they're like, oh my God, Matt Fisher and Jack Helmuth. Where can I find out more information about them? Yeah. Why am I talking so softly? But I really would like to know.
That's what your listeners sound like.
Yeah, very soft, quiet.
Sort of shell-shocked.
Yeah, shell-shocked people.
You can tweet me at BlackfaceJack.
Tweet at him before that account is deleted.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of heat.
Yeah, you have to admit, Blackface Jack just rolls off the tongue now.
I was very excited when that came to my head. I am going to go squat that. Because there will come a time when the uptight people will be like, blackface.
Uptight.
And then I got it.
There's a sign your moral system is skewed when you're like, it's me versus uptight people.
Jack, do you have a Twitter?
Yeah, it's at Jack Helmuth, Helmuth. And I guess the thing that I would plug would be to go to youtube.com and search the BS of A with Brian Sack. We do a lot of funny sketches, and we got like 200 sketches up there on the YouTube, and they're funny sketches, most of them featuring this guy, Matt Fisher.
Handsome sketches.
Handsome sketches. Go check out and support some sketches here made in New York.
Yeah, so in between looking at puppy videos,
check
out some funny videos.
The BS of A.
Yeah, the BS of A with Brian Sack.
Yeah.
My tweeter is at Fisher Matt. Matt Fisher is a horribly common name. The guy who played organ on the song Whiter Shade of Pale named Matt Fisher, so Google's never going to be my friend.
Right.
At Fisher Matt with no C and two T's. And I would replug the BSFA, and then I would subplug the website katiefisherday.org. Go there to find out what is Katie Fisher Day.
Yes.
Find out at katiefisherday.org.
Yes.
Then that's with a C.
No C.
It's with a K.
With a K with the Katie with a K and Fisher with no C.
Right.
Right. and that was very clear.
Want to make sure we got the spelling. We got to get people to go there.
Well, there was a point where I asked Matt a while ago where I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Can you do the show?" And then you wrote back, you're like, "Hey, never not ask." It's okay. Never you wrote, never stop not asking. Like I was like, there was some kind of weird thing, and I wanted to think of like a funny double negative to write back, but I couldn't think of anything. Anyway, Lisa, my sweet.
Lisa Herring is also a very common name, so my Twitter is Lisa Barracuda because it's a better fish.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you can.
I never realized that angle of it.
Nobody ever does.
That's awesome.
Right, it's a better. Yeah.
Did you?
Jason Shabiro got it.
Good one.
Good one. You can follow. They can visit our website too.
Yeah, you can visit our website at getinformedradio.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at getinformeducb.
Great. Thank you. I would like to thank Jason, our producer, for the show, producing the show as always, doing a bang-up job, and our intern, Ben. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I've been Andy Rocco. It's been real.